Hello class, welcome to Miss Fajardo's 4th grade science class. We are going to be doing lots of fun experiments in our classroom this year. In order to complete these experiments, we are going to have to learn about the scientific method.
What is the scientific method? Basically, the scientific method is a process used when we want to study the world around us. There are 6 steps in the scientific method. Make an observation, research, make a hypothesis, conduct an experiment, analyze data, form a conclusion. First step, make an observation. As you make your observations, pay special attention to things that catch your attention. What you are trying to do in this step is find something that really interests you that you would like to find out more about. When observing, ask questions. What causes rain? Why do birds fly south in the winter? You can ask any question you would like to learn about. Second step, research. Do some background research to see what has already been discovered in your area of interest. Third step, make a hypothesis. A hypothesis is similar to an educated guess. All you need to do to form your hypothesis is take your original question and turn it into an answer. Fourth step, conduct an experiment. There are 3 types of variables you need to consider when designing your experiment: independent variables, dependent variables, and controlled variables. Independent variables are things or factors you change in your experiment. The dependent variable is the thing you measure whenever you make a change to the independent variable. Controlled variables are the factors that you keep constant in each run of your experiment. In this example, the dependent variable is the plant growth. The independent variable is the amount of light. The controlled variable is the amount of water. Fifth step, analyze your data. Once you have collected your data, determine if you see any trends or patterns. Does the data support your hypothesis? Do you still need to collect additional information? Sixth step, form a conclusion. Summarize the findings of your experiment and to determine whether the experimental evidence supports or refutes your original hypothesis.
Hi class, Miss Fajardo here again. Now that you know the steps of the scientific method, we're going to see how the scientific method works in an actual experiment. So our first step is to make an observation. I've noticed that in nature, certain things sink or float. What I want to know today is which of these objects that I have here, like this pencil, the lime, and this bottle of soap, which will sink and which will float. So, in our second step, which is research, I've done a little bit of light research, and I've found out that what we are trying to find out is called buoyancy, and that is the tendency to float when placed in a liquid. So, we're trying to find the buoyancy of these objects. So, after you do your light research, now it's time to make a hypothesis. So this pencil, I think that it's going to float. This line, I think that it's going to float. And this bottle of soap, I'm going to say that it floats too. So my hypothesis is that all of these items are going to float. So let's see in our actual experiment. And for this, we have a bowl of water to test out our hypothesis. So, and make sure that while you're experimenting to record your data. So, let's do the bottle first. I thought that this was going to float, so, yep, it sure did, it floated. So, remember to record your data. Yes, the bottle floated. Now, we're going to do the pencil. And my hypothesis was right. Again, the pencil floated. Now, we're going to do the lime. Remember, I said that it would float. And Oh, it looked like it was going to float, but it teased us and it sunk. So, the lime actually sunk. And it's okay if your hypothesis doesn't match what actually happened in the experiment, because that's part of the fun of experimenting. So, once you collect all of your data and you've done the experiment, now it's time to analyze the data. And you do that by actually looking at your data and seeing if you see any patterns. So, once you've looked at your data, you can now form a conclusion. So, our last and final step, the conclusion is that the bottle floated, the pencil floated, and the lime, surprisingly to me, sunk. So, that is how you use the scientific method in an actual experiment.